Hello, and welcome to CX Today. My name is Charlie, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Devere Hoffman, CEO at Commbox. Devere, it's great to have you join us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and I hope that the audience as well. Thank you very much, Charlie.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm very excited for today's conversation, where you're going to kind of talk through this five-step process that you've come up with for implementing conversational AI. But before we get onto that five-step process, I think it's critical maybe to acknowledge that whilst the potential of conversational AI in the contact center is incredibly exciting, we still see so many implementations that perhaps miss the mark a little bit. I think there's been some high-profile examples recently in the space. Just from your perspective, why do you think these implementations of conversational AI still sometimes miss the mark?
Yeah, so I think it's a very good starting point for our discussion for today's session. There are throughout the years, there's been a lot of technologies that was introduced, and every technology is, groundbreaking, and everybody's very excited about implementing and adapting new technologies. But I think that, like every other technology, what many of us do neglect or even forget is to stop for a second and to see if there is an alignment between the technology, its maturity, where we stand as a business, understanding the gap that this technology is all about, helping us to bridge and helping us obviously to achieve our goals. So I think that most of the failures today to really implement new technologies in general, and in today's world, AI is primarily based on our experience in Commbox, working with so many customers, is that you need to stop for a second and really think about what you're trying to achieve. And I think we'll talk about it more throughout the session, and really understanding the technology, its barriers, where it is really shining today, and what are the advantages of this technology, where it is lacking today, versus where you're standing right now as a business and what are your goals. And this kind of triangle, if you will, the technology, the business challenge, and also the overall trends needs to work together in tandem in order to really meet the expectation. So this is really, I would say, in essence, something that most are failing today. In addition to that, I would say that we haven't seen, and I've been to the high tech industry for about 30 years already. I haven't seen a technology that is evolving so fast as the AI. And I believe that some of our way to evaluate this technology, to think about its implications, need to shift gears and to change a little bit of our mindset on how we are actually addressing and looking into this technology. This is not yet just another technology that is happened to be here. The technology world is working on that even before I started, to my first degree. That was many years ago, and now it came into a point, a fluctuation point, I would say, that it's really becoming available not only for companies and software vendors, but also for us as individuals. And it's really going to have a huge impact, even more than the internet. So when you're considering that this is the technology that we are talking about and the impact, definitely something about the way that we are approaching it, planning, has to change. And a lot of the companies that we've seen and started to work with didn't really get the sense of what it means to adopt an AI.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, and I think the point about this is going to be an even bigger than the internet is quite startling, actually. But if we could start to look at the five-step process. I mean, you kind of alluded to the first step already there, and how critical it is to identify those key business needs. And step one is to identify your top three business needs. Could you maybe just explain a little bit more about why this is important and how contact centers can perhaps identify those needs?
Yes, definitely. And a lot of times when we're telling our customers, and what I'm telling to a lot of CEOs and other C level that we're discussing with, it is before you're even starting to think about AI, let's do a quick and a little magic, which is forget about AI. Okay, forget everything about AI and let's stick with your very basic. What are your top business objectives? What are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to achieve increasing customer satisfaction? Are you trying to achieve increasing sales, operational efficiency? Are you trying to improve any type of process, internal process that you're having, regardless of which domain and vertical you're operating? So one of the things is that we're always starting is by let's set the top three. I really like, not a large number of objectives. Let's be modest. 3 to 5 objectives. What are those? And let's define those, regardless of the technology, regardless of the AI. Just list them. And Charlie, you'll be maybe amazed that despite the fact that we're working with a lot of very successful companies, not all of them did really gave the thought about or gave the thought about what are really my objectives, right? We know what are the numbers we want to achieve, but when you need to translate the numbers, sales into KPIs and objectives, this is where it all starts, and this is what we're telling our customers and what we are advising. Start by setting a very clear objectives. It could be, for instance, if you are in a contact center, I want that an agent will handle X percentage more of conversations than before and will be able to complete, and to resolve issues 30% more. I would like, to increase the satisfaction level from my end customers by X percentage. I need to increase my outreach and my outbound, activity to my customers by X percentage. Just list them down in a very old-fashioned way. What are those objectives? How would you measure those? And then only then move to the next phase, which is what we're going to talk about, which is how you're going to achieve those. So these are just examples of KPIs, and we've seen those in many cases. Another example could be from an insurance company that they want to reduce the manual work of their agents with their customers of filling in forms and signing forms, and they want everything to be online or digital or automatic. Here is another KPI because it will help them to improve the service, to improve the agent productivity. So just list those in a very specific manner, in a measurable manner. And again, nothing new that I'm telling here. It's going first back to the basics. And we'll learn later on through this session how to link that into AI.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, and I guess that really helps to focus the conversational AI implementation that comes afterwards. And you did kind of mention that this leads very much on to the next step. So let's skip ahead right on to step two, and that is to build your AI model with quality data. Could you maybe talk through this one too?
Yeah, that today, we're talking about generative AI, but as a matter of fact, there are many AI or models out there. Okay, there are models that deal primarily with text. We know those by generative AI, and there are models that they are out there to deal with images and other about predictions and so on and so forth. But first and foremost, we need to understand that AI it's like a baby. The baby will know whatever you taught the baby to know. There is no way that I'll be able to answer something without any knowledge. So first and foremost, let's take a look at our internal knowledge within the organization. Okay. Now, every organization, hold some type of knowledge. It can be spread out across different systems. It could be in their KMS, website, databases, documents, whatever it is. Now, based on the business need that you have or the KPIs we talked about the previous step, what are the source of information that should support it? If I would like to, for instance, improve the service level that I'm providing as a telco provider to my end users, tech support. So probably the technical guides are the source of the information that I need to train my agents, human agents, in order to provide you, me, and others with technical support for their phones. The same applies for the AI, but not only that, you should note that the quality of the data is critical. And why is so? AI is super smart, but AI is also has a great, memory. And this is the advantage and disadvantage of the AI. If you'll give the AI two documents and there is a conflict between the documents, guess what? One time the answer will be A and the other time the answer will be B. So you need the data to be accurate, you need it to be coherent across your entire data sets, okay? And you need your data to be comprehensive and related to the topic that you're trying to solve. So if, as I said, I'm providing technical support, you need the most updated technical support, because if I'm, for instance, providing support for an iPhone or Samsung of some type of a model, and I've learned and uploaded to the AI documented support and cover a certain version, but I did not update it with the updated version of my smartphone, guess what? The AI will not know how to answer that. So first of all, this is what you need. The second thing regarding the data is like take a baby. If we were taught that 1 + 1 is 3, this is what we will answer for a very basic question that 1 + 1 is 3. As a matter of fact, the humanity decided that 1 + 1 is 2. Okay, and the same goes for AI. AI will be taught one thing, this is the answer you'll get. So think about the data that you are providing AI. There is a tendency by some, not all of us, to think that the AI, out of nowhere, be able to provide them with an answer. When you're going to Gemini, ChatGPT, and others, they are basing on the internet that they were ingesting. They are basing on documents that were loaded. And again, you will be able to see, even in those platforms, some contradictions in some way. But when it goes to your organization, you want 100% or very close to that the answer with respect to your service, your policy, will be always correct one, because there are business implications for providing a wrong answer. So data has always been important. With AI, it's super important.
Hmm. Yeah, I think there's a very prominent example of recently of Air Canada, I believe, giving its customers some wrong, get some wrong information, and then the customer sued them very publicly, and there's been a fair bit of fallout from that. So I think that very much underlines the point that you were making there. Skipping on to step three now, that is to select the right AI offering with this product capability checklist. So yeah, maybe the best question to ask here is kind of what's on that checklist.
Yeah, so again, as I said, it depends on your business, right? We're all very much familiar with generative AI because the most common, the most, I would say, technology that is available even for us as consumers. But we need to remember that there are many models out there. Okay, I just mentioned few earlier that generative AI is one type of model, which is a subset of NLP that talks about natural language processing, and generative AI is part of that. There are other types of models. Some of those, as I mentioned, deal with images, prediction, decision making, and others. There are many of them. You need to make sure that the problem on the table that you're trying to solve, let's go back to step number one, which model really can help you here? Do you need prediction? Do you need generative AI to help maybe your agent answer questions? Or do you need, imaging processing or neural networks in order to mimic type of decision making and others? There are so many models out there that we're not even familiar with because it is not really out there, in the marketplace available through the web as ChatGPT started to be, and Gemini and Barb and others. But this is where you need to match between your KPIs and business and what really type of AI technology do I need to adapt? Because AI is a very generic way to say I need a web. Think about it. Remember what I said. AI, it's a revolution. It's not even an evolution. It's a revolution, which is, and I'm not the only one saying that, will be much more impactful than the internet itself, than the web itself. Okay, so it's like you saying today, I need a web solution. I mean, web is everything. AI is everything. What type of AI do you need? And this is where you need to work with someone that really can help you, or working with a platform that is able to mix and match between different types of AI models, right? I can imagine that in many of the cases of our audience, Charlie, that they will need a combination of generative AI with intent and neural networks in some cases, and prediction, because they want to predict who is most likely to be offered and to agree to an upgrade or to cancel, or all of those customer experience, right, challenges that for years we're trying to solve, and now the technology come and say, hey, we can help you in a much better way than before. So take a use case, for instance, that I want to empower agents with the ability to answer more accurately, more politely, to increase the efficiency of the agents in their conversations with others. Most probably it's going to be generative AI, and I'll use one of those solutions. If it is about prediction, I want to know what solution or what type of offering to provide and to offer to this specific customer. Probably I need a combination also of prediction and prediction patterns, a solution. So it's really depend on what is your specific use cases, KPIs, and the business objectives. And obviously, in business like business, the objectives can change. And so as the model that you'd like maybe to implement may change very quickly as the business environment changes very rapidly. And we all know
Mm.
that.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point, especially in terms of mix and matching the technologies. Because if you take a voice bot, for example, for it to perform a task within the back end of a system, for it to help solve the customer queries, you're probably going to need some RPA in there as well. And then in the response, you might want to add some generative AI perhaps, so it's a more flexible response too. And I think that premise of kind of working with a provider who can mix and match those technologies to kind of best fit the journey and those needs that you identified earlier, I guess, is a very important point. Let's also kind of move on now as well to step 4 to get through the 5 steps, and that is measure the right KPIs using the right data. We spoke a little bit about kind of identifying the business needs, and this kind of aligns closely to this topic. But maybe the best question for me to ask here is kind of what are the right KPIs and what is the right data?
Yeah. So I think that, at the end of the day, we are all, regardless of the position we are at, we need to contribute to the end results of our business and the objectives of our business. Okay. And like any other KPI and any other objective, we need to measure its impact. And one of the things that we're always working with our customers is to measure it throughout the process and not to wait for the end of the process or end of the period in order to know the impact. So, for instance, when we've just started to implement generative AI to some of our customers, then we wanted to measure very fast if it is about summarizing conversations or helping agents to really draft their response without using any knowledge, then immediately measuring in a small team what is the impact. Are they spending more time on the technology, or is it that there are more conversations that are able to handle? And if they're able to handle more conversation, which is a good sign, what is the satisfaction level? And what is the actually first response resolution ratio is, as compared to previous, before we implemented the AI. If it is on the chatbot, for instance, and we implemented an AI on the chatbot, then how many of our users are dropping in the middle? How many steps, if at all, users needs to go through the chatbot until they're getting, their request resolved. So you need to start measuring those as you're implementing the AI. And then, at the end of the day, there are the very basic comparison that regardless of what was your KPI, increase customer satisfaction, which is the ultimate, and increase sales, which is like the ultimate. At the end of the day, you can very much immediately see if there is an real impact.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I thought that was a really good point, because if you can, especially if you can track the impact on the customer, if you can track the impact on the agent, if you can track the impact on the business, you can help build a business case to kind of continue the investment with AI and stuff, and kind of grow it. And I think that leads us very nicely onto your next step, which is to kind of start with a small, scalable approach. Could you maybe talk more about the thinking to starting small?
yeah. So I think it has several, I would say, considerations here. A, like any technology out there, there is the adoption, pace and level of technology in the marketplace. And there are the majority, and there is, there always the chasm that you need to go through in order to get into the mass adoption of a technology. Now, usually, when we're talking about early adopters, they're really those customers that want to be in the forefront of the technology. They are thinking, big. Usually, you'll find their companies and brands that it won't surprise you that they're always trying to be in the very forefront of the technology, because it's their way to really keep a good service level for their customers, and keeping a very unique experience for their customers. That being said, it comes with a lot of enthusiasm and the need to really adapt and to do everything fast. And it is also our objectives many times as a vendor, let's do it. But we're also telling our customers, look, the technology is relatively new. And as much as we are very excited, we are always very much in favor of starting small with a very specific 1, 2 use cases in a controlled team, or agents that will use the technology. We'll be able to monitor it with our customers very closely. Going back to the previous step, measure the impact. And if we are confident about that, let's expand that, the same use case, to the entire organization. And then let's move to the next use case, and so on and so forth. And that in order to build also the customers confident in the technology, A. B, knowing also that the pace in which the technology is evolving and improving day after day. I mean, it is really amazing. And as I said, I've been in the technology and the high tech for 30 years. I haven't seen a pace in which improvements are being made on almost a weekly basis. It is really amazing. So really, you need to take it one step at the other. The other part is, you just gave Charlie, and I also read the news about this airline, Air Canada, that the chatbot that was based on AI and everything. And we're also telling our customers, look, to take just a chatbot, connect it behind the scenes to one of the generative AI without it being connected to your uh, ecosystem, to a platform that can monitor it, that can provide you with the means to really control it and to fine tune it in a way that is measured and is tailored for your needs. It's very risky. By the way, Air Canada tried to claim in the court that the AI bot is a personality per se, it doesn't really relate to them, and the court didn't bite it. I mean, they told him, like any other employee, it's yours. And what we're telling our customers, start small. We're also, in some cases, also advising our customers, don't start with the what we call in Commbox the autonomous agent, which is AI-based bot that answers everything for you and does everything for you. We have customers already using it with us, very successfully. But we're telling our customers, start with empowering your agents. Have also developed, the ability that the AI will be available for the agents themselves. So the only thing they need to do, instead of answer and start typing, just clicking a button, and I will answer for them, I will draft for them, I will summarize whatever it is. And when you gain the confidence as a customer, only then further expose that to your end customers. So starting small, it has, in two different, I would say, domains. A is the use case, how many, agents and the population that you're exposing it to, and also is it to begin with exposed to your end users as opposed to your agents, and then expose it to your end users and customers. It's up to you, but we're always suggesting start small, gain the confidence, learn how to adapt. And going back to the very beginning, of our session, why there is such, not a huge success so far in the adoption of AI in general. One of the reasons is that where many are trying to go full blown immediately, but it doesn't really happen this way. You need to go through the steps in order to really implement it in the right way. And we're very happy that we have, customers that we're doing it with them, and we're seeing the amazing impact that it has on their organization, because there are no shortcuts, and we don't believe also in shortcuts. There is no need to do shortcuts in the domain of AI.
Yeah, and I really like the idea of kind of starting with those kind of low-hanging fruit use cases. I think again, it kind of comes back to kind of identifying those kind of maybe three sort of big opportunities that you have, especially in conversational AI. Kind of maybe three big customer queries, and then kind of getting together the knowledge that you need to answer those, orchestrating your experience around those intents, choosing the right AI, and then monitoring that, and proving the value of that, and then building out bigger. I think there's in that approach has so many merits, and I guess that leads on to my final question, which I have for you, and that is kind of why should businesses consider making Commbox their tech partner when following a process like I just outlined?
Yeah. So, I mean, we have, we're very excited, and we're very proud to be one of the first vendors to really started over 10 years ago, building, platform for digital channels. And then we evolved into automation and AI and others. And when you're looking into today's technology and in typical organization, you'll typically find, a lot of silos of AI in one silo, and then automation is done, in another environment, and the omni-channel is a combination either or extension of an existing system that was not born really as an digital omni-channel, which we're supporting over 20 different digital channels. And one of the reasons that customers are coming to us is because they are aware of the fact that at the end of the day, all of those needs to play together. You'd like to automate process. Some of our customers are automating, appointments to doctor and getting their medical records, and checking their orders, and checking their balance, and renewing their packages, or whatever it is, really automating business processes and automating services to your customers. You want to expose it through multiple channels and digital channels, and you want also to apply to all of those AI, regardless of what it is. And many customers today find it that they need to kind of, plug in a lot of different components. Doesn't really necessarily, talk together, and the flow is not really streamlined across everything. And the experience at the end of the day for their users, we're all talking about customer experience and the customer journey. You want to have one streamlined, very positive experience for the customers. And this is something that we're putting a lot of focus, and this is why we have, and we're very, very proud of our platform, which is a unified platform that starts with omni-channel to automating services and automating business processes with an AI in one system. And this is why, a lot of customers are coming to us, and we're very proud to support a lot of customers, over 350 worldwide, that from different verticals: healthcare, insurance, retail, education, municipality, and so on and so forth, because they want and they are looking today to have all of this in one platform. And obviously, this is something that we're happy to work and to also extend the partnership with the other technology providers to really complete the picture of real 22nd century customer experience solution.
Yeah, excellent. And what I will do for anybody who watching who wants to learn more about the Commbox platform, I'll put in a link to the website so you can check that out there. So you can check out the platform there. I'll also add a link to your blog, Devere, which kind of goes through this 5-step process in more detail. But for now, I think that's maybe a great place to end today's conversation. I think it's been a great chat. So thank you very much for joining me
Yeah,
today.
thanks, Charlie, for having me, and thank you all.
Absolutely. Yes. Thanks everybody for watching. Bye for now.